Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode of Bitcoin Trade. I'm not going to do much of a chart analysis here, um, just because it's just for the most part ranging in price between these. Looks like from this to this, from these two highs, and you see I have no lines here, so it seems to be just ranging in price from here. I'm on Bitfin on a 12-hour, from here to about here. So it's ranging between these two prices, from 550 to 600, um, somewhere around there, from 650 to 680, somewhere around here. Um, so that's kind of where it's just ranging, and I think it's going to just range there until, for the most part, um, there's other things that are going to happen. Usually, when you see price movements, it's based on, believe it or not, some news, just like some other things as well. But in this particular episode, I'm gonna try to talk about a certain article here that I found very, very interesting. Let's see if I can find it here. There you go, this one. And first time I've heard about it was through CoinDesk here, and I'm like, really? When I first saw this, I didn't know there was an ISIS. What I've heard from what an ISIS is from that TV series on FX called Archer. I don't know if anybody ever seen it. It's just an animated series. Very funny, very hilarious. It's for adults, so children need not, watch. But that's the first time I ever heard of ISIS, and this whole thing seems like almost like a joke in some ways. So it interested me. I wanted to follow it. I want to follow the story. And a lot of people don't even think this is real. If you ever read the comments on these articles, a lot of people don't think this is real at all. But I wanted to take a look at it because I wanted to see for myself if this was real. Like, really, people are really using this to fund terrorist movements worldwide. So, this is the first article I saw, and I wanted to get more into it. And so I read another article here, and this one will actually have links to the actual blog and to the actual PDF file because it's been removed apparently. And let me see where it is. Here it is. Or is this another article? This may be another article here. I'll let it load up. Okay, so here it is. And oh, this is its entirety. So this article shows the entirety of it, and here you go. Great way to finance terrorist. In other news, water is wet. I don't know what that means, but and then here's the actual blog itself. Okay, so here's the blog, and here you go. Here it comes, and when you go down, let's see where is it? It's supposed to be right here. See where it says right here? This is supposed to be right here, and it's been removed. But apparently someone has, I guess, saved it or whatever. And here's what the actual article looks like. There it is. So the strange thing I noticed about this right off the bat is this thing's in English, which is kind of weird. And not only is it in English, but also that they're here's the weird part. If I was a jihadist, right, I wouldn't need any definitions, but if you scroll down, and there you go. Oh, there you go. There it is. They give you some definitions here. It's almost like written by I don't know, like someone who wants you to get the message of whatever this group is trying to do. Anyways, I've read it, and other than what I've seen, I don't see anything here that would suggest that there's any imminent danger of Bitcoin's um, being used to do anything other than donate money. I don't know what to say, but this is just a way to donate money to something that people believe in. So, although the title of it is very weird, I guess it's in English, but Bitcoin and the Charity of Violent Physical Struggle. Okay, I'm not a jihadist. I don't know anything about jihad other than what I kind of know from, I guess, my own personal research into it. Other than the fact that I guess it's an idea, obviously a religion of some sorts, but I guess it's to the extreme. I guess in some cases people will call it fanaticism, being fanatic. Now, if you see my previous episodes, you probably already know by now that uh, you can be a fanatic in the fact that you are highly or very immersed into something, right? So you take something like Bitcoin, which requires you to be a fanatic, and then all of a sudden you have a fanatic group using something like Bitcoin, which is in itself very fanatic. So I guess you'll get the extreme of fanaticism. I'm not sure, but what strikes me weird was that this is in English, first of all, and second that some of these words are highlighted, like this has to be highlighted, and this has to be oops, this has to be highlighted, this has to be highlighted. Like um, for some reason, if I'm a jihadist, I gotta like this has to be emphasized to me, which is really strange. Um, Although it's very interesting to read, I would suggest everyone to read it and make a judgment for yourself whether this is something real or not. But in any case, the question remains: could it, or is it possible? As I see, I scroll down here. Is it possible? And here's another thing. It's they're highlighted everywhere. This and that and this. Don't know why certain words are in bold and others not. But highlighted. Anyways, excuse me one moment. I got dogs are barking. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Keep the dogs quiet here. Anyways, like look at this. Like they have little inserts here. Um, I guess it's just really strange. Um, and who is the audience for this? It's kind of weird. Like if I was a jihadist, I wouldn't be writing this in English to get the message out to my fellow jihadist. What would be the point of writing this in English if this was in English? I don't know. Maybe there's. I know there's some American jihadists in America. Uh, because you're a jihadist doesn't quite necessarily mean uh, by default you're a terrorist in any way. But anyways, so read it. It's kind of interesting. It's not quite as disturbing as some of the headlines may sound like it is, but for the most part, it's just talking about how can I say this? It's just talking about sending money. What can I say? It's just talking about sending money. That's why Bitcoins are in here, and Bitcoin's a great way to send money. Now in my previous episodes, I talked about absolute free will and co-creating your virtual reality. And if I have to say, there's nothing wrong with this. I feel there's nothing wrong with it. There's people out there that want to do this. they can do it. But there's a difference between uh, having free will and imposing your will onto others. Okay? I believe there's a big difference. Having free will would mean that I would have to participate and choose by my own free will, like, a willing buyer, a willing seller, right? That I would do this versus having a will imposed on me. So um, it's just weird. But let me get back to the headlines here, real quick, on this, and let's ask that question: is the Islamic State really using bitcoins? And I don't see why not. I don't see why an Islamic State or any entity or any body or any person would not be using bitcoins, or could the question of whether they really are using bitcoins, because anybody can use bitcoins for whatever reason. Absolute free will in your virtual reality, right? Um, Now, what would it entail? What would happen if they did? Okay. Okay. Well, let me see. Let's go through the process. Let's say there's someone who's a jihadist in America, because they in the in here they mention a lot of things, and it's kind of weird. Why would jihadists even want to send money from outside their, you know, wherever they're from, whatever country they're putting their allegiance to or whatever. So it's just kind of really strange, but here you go. It says, like, for example, right here. Let's talk about it right here. Okay. So they talk about donations instantly from the United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, Ghana, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, or wherever else, um, right to the pockets of the mujahideen, whatever that means. So let's think about the scenario. So wherever the jihadists are, they have to trade in their fiat currency or somehow acquire bitcoins. Okay, so they're either mining for them or they're buying them. Okay, so they're taking their fiat currency or taking fiat currency to buy mining equipment and getting bitcoins. And then they're sending bitcoins back to the mujahideen. All right, and then what? And then it's like, what's going on? Are they converting their fiat currency to another? I mean, are they converting their bitcoins into another fiat currency? Are they just holding on to those bitcoins in hopes that another willing buyer is going to sell them an airplane, a helicopter, a tank? This is kind of weird. And then would that willing buyer then convert it to a fiat currency or hold it back again? Maybe to sell it back to the jihadist and have a little cycle of Bitcoin money going through. It's kind of strange, but possible. It's doable. I don't see why not. But the question is why? Why would you do that? Um, you know, why would it be that way? So I don't know. I don't know. It seems plausible, seems possible, but are they really doing it? Maybe. Especially if they're being restricted of funds, and Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is the only way they can transact or exchange. So it's possible. But the problem is, every measure has a countermeasure. So if you wanted to catch these people or find out what they're doing, it's very simple to do. Sell bitcoins. and see who comes up and buys them. Um, that's really all you have to do if you really want to know. And then from then on, all you have to do is um, reverse surveillance. So once you identify the buyer through reverse surveillance, I mean, you have cameras, you have satellites, um, you know, or you could track their movement going forward if you wanted to do regular surveillance. But doing a reverse surveillance, you can track everyone to where they came before they purchased that Bitcoin. And you know, if there's something strange, there's something strange. If there isn't anything strange, there's nothing strange. So that's one way. Also, to be the buyer of Bitcoins, right? So being a seller and a buyer allows you to be a countermeasure for jihadists getting their hands on Bitcoin. And that's probably the easiest and simplest and most logical way to have a countermeasure for this kind of stuff. If people are really, really worried. That's what I think anyway. Um, is the Islamic State really using Bitcoin? So what? What if they are? Um, who cares? Who cares if they are? You know, I have to admit, you know, other than it's possible they could move money around, but is it possible enough to make a difference in another attack? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference because if they're doing something now, it's probably in U.S. dollars or some euro or whatever, or gold, whatever they're doing. And you know, Bitcoin would be just used for that reason. But you know, I don't know if y'all, I don't know who's been watching my videos, but on a previous episode, I did mention that we are in a secret war. All right, we are in a financial war. So would it be unrealistic for the Islamic State to use Bitcoin in a financial war? Yeah, it's possible. Um, I think for the most part, we've been at war for a while, uh, and this is just starting to catch on. Bitcoin being used as a weapon, and you know, eh, I have to say, you know, welcome to the secret war. There you go. In that sense, yeah, this could be very well. The Islamic State really can be using Bitcoin for that purpose. Now, you got to ask yourself, like, what are they doing? Are they financing terrorism? Like, what kind of terrorism? Like cyber terrorism? Financial terrorism? I think Bitcoins are best suited for that kind of purpose. If it's ever going to be used in that way. As I mentioned in my previous episodes, that there are financial terrorists out there. They're not even jihadists, okay? Or they may be jihadists. Who knows? In either case, I mean, they're both foreign and domestic. In other words, what I'm saying is they're domestic, as in there's already financial and cyber terrorists within the borders of the U.S. Okay, and they're not jihadists, all right? They're something else. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're something else. But if they were jihadists, I mean, it wouldn't be any difference than what we are dealing with right now, right? And as far as foreign, man, there are so many financial and cyber terrorists out there doing all sorts of weird things. Having, you know, the jihadists into it, I don't know if it makes a big of a difference. But that's just my opinion. But in my view, everybody, every entity has absolute free will in their virtual reality. Now, my hopes is if they do this, that they realize Bitcoin cannot be, um, well, I guess so. My hopes is if there's any extremist fanatics out there and you start using Bitcoin, and then you start realizing the potential, a positive potential of using Bitcoins, that it will alter and change your life. I mean, you can still be a jihadist and all that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a belief, and that's what you want to believe. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay, there's nothing wrong in believing in something. It's what you do with your belief. It's how you act on those beliefs and how you impose those beliefs onto others by force. There's a difference between having power and having force. Power versus force. Which one's going to win out? Power always wins out, in my opinion. Power versus force, everyone. Power always overcomes force. So hopefully, if anything, Bitcoin will empower those individuals, and they'll realize the potential of Bitcoin as far as its use. And long as they don't impose their will on me, I don't have a problem with that. Don't have any problems. But if the thing about free will is not only is that you can have free will, to do whatever you want to do, other people have free will as well. And that free will also would include to defend their virtual reality, to defend their people in virtual reality, or in reality, defend their borders in virtual reality or reality, fight for what they believe in. That goes both ways. So I don't know about the rest of the world or the rest of the state in America, but I know here in the great state of Texas, if someone tries to do harm onto you, or if someone tries to shoot at you and you have a weapon, you can shoot back. And that just that alone keeps people at bay. My point is, it goes both ways. Free will, absolute free will, goes both ways. And hopefully, maybe not, I don't know. I know jihadists are very, very specific about their goals. They have a very strong belief system. And their laws, the Islamic laws, the Islamic State, are based on those belief systems. As a matter of fact, I have an interest in the different legal systems. There's an Islamic legal system in Islamic countries, and those laws are based on their belief system. And I have to admit, I am, ever since I've gotten into Bitcoin and I'm learning the different laws and how where they come from, because laws are nothing more than the representation of a belief system in a society. So as far as Islamic law is concerned, I do have an interest in it as far as a cultural understanding. So I might do an episode later on where I get into Islamic law. What's the difference between Islamic law and the laws in America? And how are they different? And why are they different? Just like I discovered the different legal system, the different laws from Canada and America, where Canadians are nothing more than subjects of Her Majesty, and America is different. Different. I know people talk about how they're not free in America. I have to admit, I have to disagree with them. I live here in Texas, and I feel free as a bird. I don't feel caged in whatsoever. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about that briefly, or not so briefly. People should read it. Make a judgment for yourself. Is this real or is this propaganda? Because let me see here. Let's go back to it. And why the hell is it written in English if it's supposed to be for jihadists? Because jihadists, um, you know, I didn't know they read English. Uh, and why is it written in English? Is it geared or marketing, or is it supposed to be a message for Western jihadists? I guess so, because money comes from where value is, and value as far as wealth is concentrated in the Western nations, Europe, America, Canada, um, and where else? Um, well, anyways, you get the idea. The concentration of wealth is not in Russia or China or wherever. Um, it's mostly in North America and Europe. So I guess that's why it would be in English. UK, I guess, another example. So maybe it's just a message for for Western jihadists, or it's a message to us, the English-speaking nations. This could be a, yeah, a proclamation of their claim and use of Bitcoin. They're basically making a statement to the Western nations that this is what we're gonna do, and we're letting you know. I don't know, but it's just weird the fact that it's in English. I mean, who are they trying to, who are they trying to send this message out to? Anyways, let's conclude it on this page here because it's it's Bitcoin doesn't care who you are, what you do. It is what it is, and on top of that, it allows you to create your own virtual reality. Um, my hopes is as these people start using Bitcoins, they realize that they can co-create their own virtual reality without causing physical harm in this reality. Like I was mentioning, is there a way, and I mentioned this in my previous episode, is there a way that you can, without stepping foot on any foreign soil, without killing anyone, blowing up people, blowing up buildings, can you conquer a country? Can you take over a country? And I believe you can. And in some ways, any movement, jihad, or even Christian movements, or even a political movement, requires people. So people are the greatest asset in a movement. Not necessarily, I don't think money, because most of where the money comes from is from the people, right? The people that are committed to this idea. So if anything, I hope what Bitcoin does for them is that they realize the potential of non-violent use of Bitcoin to achieve their objectives. So I think once it starts getting violent, I would say be very careful because, I don't know if anyone noticed, but, uh, uh, we've been at physical war for quite some time, and during that time, a lot of people were being killed, right? Assassinated, a hit list, all over the world. So, like I said, free will goes both ways. And in my virtual reality, I will defend my free will at all cost, both in real life and in virtual reality. So hopefully we can all respect each other. Anyway, that's my message. So, anyways, read this. It's interesting. I don't know how true it is, but it's definitely strange. But like I said, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. I wish, man, I wish I could make this stuff up, but man, this is just, you know, it's unreal at the same time. It's real. All right. Let me end it off on the chart here, and I hope everyone had a great day of trading. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned.